Back at 7 o'clock. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us for the special meeting of the Lafayette Township Board of Trustees and Fire District, Tuesday, August 25th at 7 p.m. Roll call.
Kittle here.
Bala here.
And Paroli here. Pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So with the special meeting, we just have two items on the agenda tonight. We want to discuss the initial screening of the fire chief applicants that we received, and then also a discussion over our current service department supervisor position.
Yeah, so I'll just start off. At the beginning of this process, we reached out to the Ohio Fire Chiefs Association and tried to get an outline of what they would do and how they could help us. They gave me a sheet of, 10 points or so, of different steps that they would take. So when we first talked to them, we decided that we weren't gonna go that route, and we put together a selection committee and whatnot. We posted the job. So after the last meeting, I reached back out to the Fire Chiefs Association, talked to Mr. Frank Cook there, and in the meantime, I was having the selection committee review the applicants and come up with their top 6. I just wanted to see, basically re-engage the Ohio Fire Chiefs Association. He also sent me a proposal to where they could do the selection, like they could narrow down the 14 applicants down to 6. But before we had a chance to actually really do that, the selection committee came down to 6, I had everybody rank their top 6, and we have a pretty good consensus of
Just
6.
real quick, can you just remind everybody who was on the selection committee?
So on the selection committee, we have Chief Larry Walters at Medina, Police Chief Edward Kinney with Medina, Fire Chief Jason Kramer at York Earhart. We have our Assistant Fire Chief Tim Holtzman, and I'm on the committee, and then also Tamitha Sorgi from Village. Yeah. One member hasn't responded, so I only have responses or the top 6 from 5 of the members.
Okay.
So out of that, 1 candidate received all 5 votes.
Okay.
4 candidates received 4 out of 5 votes. 1 candidate received 3, and then there's 3 candidates that received 2 each.
Okay.
So out of total, 30 total. Long story short, we have 5 people that received 4 or 5 votes out of 5 votes.
Okay.
And then the 6th person received 3 votes out of 5 votes.
And he was the only one that received 3?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And then you said there were 3 additional, they got
2 votes each. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I don't know if you want to take a quick executive session, just to kind of review those results, and then we can come back out, and if we feel comfortable with, then we can share those and take next steps.
Yeah, that's fine. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to ORC 121.22 G1 to consider the employment of a public employee or official.
Okay, I will second. Roll call.
Bala
yes.
yes. Oh, sorry, Kim.
Good.
Bala yes.
Paroli, yes. It is 7:04. It'll just be the 3 trustees in executive session. All right, it is 7:37. We are out of executive session. No decisions were made. Trustee Kittle, if you want to take over with the fire chief hiring process.
Yeah, so we discussed the candidates, discussed the top 6 that were recommended by the selection committee, and I think at this point I would like to start making motions one by one to advance candidates to the assessment testing.
Okay.
So, I'll make a motion to advance Robert Haas to the assessment testing.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll make a motion to advance Stephen Lasky to the assessment testing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to advance Ken Gardner to the assessment testing.
I'll second.
Before we vote, I guess the one thing I just wanna,
I said,
yeah, no, that's fine. I just wanna circle back on, cause I know we had discussed the possibility of, you know, how many, we had 6 recommendations, but with the fire chief, with the Ohio Fire Chief's assessment pricing, you know, 6 or 7, probably makes the most sense. You know, cause of the flat fee
correct.
for setting it up and based on the recommendations we have. Is the board comfortable with potentially, if we have 7 applicants that we wanna put through, is the board comfortable with going 7, or are we locking it at 6?
I personally feel like 6 is enough. There's 6 candidates at $6,900, that's $1,150 per candidate. Right, 7 the candidate is $1,200, so it's $50 more for that extra candidate. It's $1,200 more, but, and additionally, it's $50 more than the other 6 candidates.
Okay. So we wanna keep it.
Personally, yeah, I feel like the top 6, we had 14 candidates, 5 of them didn't get any votes from the selection committee.
Right.
I feel like 6 is the right number, but,
Okay. That's fine, I just, before we start kinda, as we have our own,
yeah,
you know, so. Alright, so we've got Gardner, we've got a first, we've got a second, and we're pretty much locked at 6, so. Alright. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
And I am voting no.
I'll make a motion to advance Josh Bowe to the assessment testing.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will make a motion to advance Anthony Bernardo to the assessment testing.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. If you don't mind, I would like to make a motion to, to advance Brian Broyles to the assessment center.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Hold on one second.
That's fine.
So we're gonna make it 7 then, yeah?
Well, not necessarily, we can always add a 7th, but I would like Royals to be
Yeah.
the 6th. We're just waiting on the vote on that one.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just, wanted to review his
Yeah, that's fine.
credentials
That's
before
fine. Well, we have 2 votes for broils, so are you in favor, or do you wanna?
I'm going to vote no on that.
So we have 6 that we've approved in advance. We obviously have the opportunity to advance the 7th if we would like within, their single day
Right.
assessment center. I know there were, based on what we've done here, there were there was one other candidate that received votes from the committee. And I do think that there was, one other candidate that, we discussed that probably had a very strong resume, but due to, having a number of years in the private sector since, I think it would be interesting I think that resume is strong enough potentially to warrant, having that assessment done. Obviously, depending on how the candidate would advance through the assessment would require, the board to have another discussion on renewing credentials. I think, the candidate had all of the credentials at one point that are required of the position, but obviously having left active service, to go into the private sector, would need to potentially reissue those. So I'm not saying it's a slam dunk, but I do think, based on the amount of leadership experience, that it's worth considering. So, if the board agrees, I would make the motion to advance, David Fulmer for testing in the assessment center as a 7.
Kittle, no.
But we haven't got to the vote, so you don't have to second yet.
Second.
Is there a second?
Yes, there is.
Okay, so we do have a second.
Can I make a suggestion then?
Sure.
Can we do 8 candidates then?
Well, the issue with,
Maximum 7.
the issue with 8 is we're
It is.
basically, it's gonna significantly
price goes
increase
up,
the
yeah.
pricing plus.
No, they said the maximum 7.
It is a maximum of 7.
I'm sure if we pay them enough, they would do an 8. But to your point, I agree. And I think with 14, the candidates that, I'm perfectly fine with the 6th. I just think that this resume is kind of a wild card, and I know why. I shouldn't say I know why. I have a good idea why, right? The not being active in the fire service right now is probably why the resume got looked over, but past, leadership experience within the fire service, makes him an interesting candidate to me. But again, I also understand if it's not something that the board wants to move forward with, so. But I think we're stuck at 7, so.
That would take out the one that the committee decided.
Potentially.
Yeah.
So yes, so the motion's on the table to advance Fulmer, but this would be the end of our applicants if you vote yes. So I'm voting yes, I think Nick's voting no.
Correct.
Okay,
No.
so you're on the spot, Carrie.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that the reason I voted no, he's been in the private sector since 2017. He didn't submit his qualifications, which were part of the application process, and that's why I didn't have him on the list.
Sure. No, understood.
I'm gonna say no, because I'd like to do that, Michael.
That's fine. And, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're a no there, and so now if
Yeah.
there's any other candidate that we want to put up as the 7th, now's the time.
So the Michael Hassenstubb, is it?
Straub.
Hassens, yes, that one.
All right. So are you making the motion?
I'll make the
to-
motion,
okay.
yeah.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye. So we're doing 7.
What was the name?
7.
Michael Hassenstraub.
Alright, so we have 7 candidates for the assessment center. Trustee Kittle, you will work with the Fire Chiefs Association to get them set up for, and then they'll wanna meet, I think, with all of us.
Correct. Yeah, they'll meet with the stakeholders and create an assessment profile.
Can you take point, since it's not something can you check with the prosecutor's office? Explain to them exactly what we're doing here and see if it's something where, because it's not a deliberation on an actual piece of business, if that's something that can be done outside of a meeting, or if we have to notice a meeting when they do it, just to make sure that we're clean on that, right? I mean, so, if you could reach out to the prosecutor's office and just copy the rest of us on it. Alright. And then we'll have Kristen reach out to everybody tomorrow. I'll give you the list again if you don't have everybody, but
Yes, because I need names and spellings for this
Yep.
anyway.
perfect. I'll work with
Yeah.
Kristen on that. We'll get it communicated to all the candidates that the ones that are going to be tested will be receiving further information, and the rest of them for now, I mean, again, we can always, if for some reason
Right.
the assessment process doesn't pan out a qualified and a candidate that we move forward with, we can always revisit that, but for now, that's where we're at. Alright, anything else on the fire chief hiring process that we need to discuss? Okay. Then the other piece of business we had was the service department supervisor position. We've obviously, had a lot of flux in the department over the last couple of years even, really.
Yeah.
The one consistent has been, Ben Miller, who has been asked in a number of occasions to kind of step up and lead in the interim. I don't wanna speak for anybody else. Obviously, Nick, you weren't here at the end of the year when we were going through this process once before. One of the hesitations that I had was just not having had a lot of experience with Ben and knowing if he was really ready to take on that leadership role. He had never really been challenged previously to do that. So that was my hesitation in not promoting him the last time this came up. Having watched the way he's handled the last 8 months, kind of helping to kind of bring a new service director up to speed on what was specific to the township, and just the way he's kind of handled himself in what was probably a challenging situation too, and kind of, not being selected for that role. I think, he's given me the confidence that he's ready to take over, as our service director. I also think he brings maybe a little different approach that'll be welcomed by the community as well. So, I would like to make the motion I don't know, does anybody want to add anything to that? Carrie, do you have anything?
No, I totally agree.
Okay. So I would move to hire Ben Miller as our to promote Ben as our service director. And with that, increase his compensation to $32.50 an hour effective the next pay period.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excellent. Alright, is there anything else on those two topics?
Is this still on topic, to post for,
Yeah,
yeah.
cause,
since we're moving Ben into a leadership role, I think we should start posting, or we should post for his position, not necessarily assistant service
Which is
director,
another
but we should post
full-time-
for another full-time service department member.
I agree. Kristen, I think we have probably the
The template.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'd have to,
template, but
I have to search, I would think it would be on this computer, hopefully it's not on the brick, cause that,
Yeah.
Karen and I couldn't get anything off it yesterday, but luckily I had it on the laptop, so.
we'll work on, if we have that, we can go with that, but actually let's double check. Let's have Ben take a look over it and see if anything needs to be
I
adjusted,
think we might
on
need to
the
update a
listing.
few bits, yeah.
and have
You might have it too, Carrie.
I
And
think
have-
I do.
have
Okay.
Ben tweak it, but, I think, to your point, Nick, we definitely don't wanna be slow in getting it out, but I also think we're at the luxury too, if we don't have to hire somebody in the next week or two, but we do wanna get up to full staff for
plow season.
plow season. We
Yeah.
still have, you know,
I
we still
know-
have Tim.
I know we'll have it, cause we'll have it, cause when we posted it on,
Indeed.
Yeah,
yes, so I can copy and paste it from there too.
Just have Ben take a look and see if we missed
Okay.
anything,
I'll
especially
talk
since
to him
that's-
tomorrow.
Yeah, so, does anybody have any issue with Ben tweaking it as he needs to or sees fit with,
No,
with the
no,
posting?
no,
Okay, so we'll have Ben do that, we'll get the posting up, we won't put a, what's that?
Ben,
Yeah,
for director,
well,
he
Yeah.
mentioned it.
okay, we'll have to have that discussion, you
another
know.
time.
Yeah, but that was already on the agenda for,
Mhm.
Yeah,
you know, as we've been discussing, like township emails and stuff like that, so we'll do that at the next regular meeting. Where was it going? So we won't post it for a set time period like we did with the fire chief, we'll just post it until we get the right
Till it's fi-
candidate for.
until it's filled.
Correct,
I think that's what it said when we did it last
Yeah.
time.
cause we will get a lot, I would imagine we'll get a lot of applicants like we did the last time around, you know, some more qualified than others, you know, we'll kinda go from there.
Do you want it posted on Indeed or just on the website?
I think,
I think put it on the website for now, what do you guys think?
And then do you want, I still have the folder, I think of all
I
the,
don't wanna pull from the previous
No,
ones,
no,
I'd like
okay.
to do a fresh,
Yeah, I agree.
fresh,
Cool.
okay.
I'd like to be on D.
Yes.
Alright, then let's post
Yeah,
it.
what was the cost for them, Indeed, was it $5 a week or something, or
I can't
$100 a
remember.
month?
I mean, they have all kinds of options,
Right.
but I don't think it was too much. I'll have to look for sure, I can't
Okay.
say. We'd have to
I
ask
didn't think
Sherry,
it was too much.
No, it was
It was
nominal in the
minimal.
grand scheme of things.
cause I
so-
did like the most minimal.
Right,
Okay.
so let's get that posted and then,
I agreed to post it on Indeed.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
We need a motion for all that, or?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, look, we'll, motion to approve up to $250 for listing of, I don't think it'll cost anywhere near that, but that way
Right.
she can get it posted and we can leave it
Right.
open-ended
Yeah.
until,
I meant
Till it's
to
done.
even post it and everything. Like-
yeah,
Yeah.
so I make the motion
Motion
to
to
post it on
post it.
Indeed,
Okay,
Yeah.
up to
up to $250 in
I'll
expenditures.
after Ben reviews it.
Yeah, after he reviews it, yeah,
I'll-
Well, we'll send it to you guys.
yeah,
Copy it.
Did you second?
yeah, I'll second.
Carrie second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright, with that,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
alright, I will second, all in favor?
Aye.
And it is 7:56, meeting is adjourned. Hey Kristen, surprise. I
Hold
didn't
on,
have
who
this.
motioned? That was also fast.
Nick motioned, I second.
Okay.